Congratulations on Miss Stevens. Here's staying here at South by. I'll start with Julia. So this is your directorial debut, and you had written a screenplay before, The Keeping Room. So my question is, how has that transition from screenwriter to director?
I was watching The Keeping Room get made, and I realized that I wanted to be telling my own story. And I think, especially as a woman, you know, we're not often encouraged to be in charge and to share our voice. So I was a little bit mad at myself that I hadn't realized that, but I was really grateful to have the opportunity to then tell my own story.
Can you tell us a little bit about your vision for the film, and I guess in general, what was your aspiration for making it?
It's a really good question.
Thank you.
I was a teacher.
Oh, okay.
And so it was a very personal story for me. It was a world that I felt had not really been authentically portrayed, at least based on my experience as a teacher, that this idea of what happens outside of the classroom is actually more important and becomes the place that you're really teaching young people, because they're looking to you, you're an adult human, and they're not. Well, they're human, but they're looking to you like, what does it mean to be an adult? How do you exist in the world? And you're teaching them as much about life as you are about grammar.
Yeah.
And so that was a world that I really wanted to portray on film. And I'm also just like a really big fan of film myself, and so it was really important to me to make the film in a cinematic way, you know, not just to like have someone throw a camera on their back and just shoot. So we were very conscious of cinema and cinematography and composition and production design and costume. So it was fun on a movie that is, you know, just about people, that doesn't take place in, you know, the deserts of Arabia or on a green screen, you know, to still find the cinema in the smaller human story.
You mentioned earlier that you used to be a teacher. Were you teaching English?
Yes, so I was an English teacher for 5 years. And I like to say that she's inspired by my days as a teacher, not based on. There's some of me in her, but you know, the circumstances of the movie, sort of the idea of taking students on a theater competition for a weekend, none of that. I did never actually do that.
Gotcha. What was your biggest challenge in directing it?
That's a really easy question for me because it didn't actually have anything to do with directing the movie. I actually found directing to be really easy. The hard thing for me was that he's now almost 2-year-old son, and getting to see so little of him was really hard for me. But it was funny because it made, you know, any of the drama that's inevitably going to happen on set a lot less important when, you know, I was just like wanting to get home to him at the end of the day.
Oh, there wasn't very much drama. We're pretty drama-free set, I have to say.
That's true. Fair enough.
So
the drama was in the competition, not off camera.
On the flip side of that previous question, what was your most rewarding experience with the film?
Getting to work with the actors.
Yeah.
And I would say that if they weren't sitting next to me, that's probably my favorite part about directing, and the movie is very much about, I mean, it takes place at a drama competition, it's very much about acting and performance, and how we're all kind of always performing a little bit, and what happens when we actually stop and just get to be real and be ourselves. So it was really awesome to be working with such incredibly talented actors. Pretty much every day was just like a total pleasure. Getting to hear the words that I had written spoken, and getting to talk to the actors about what they were going to be doing, and just getting to also sit back and watch them do their thing. It was really great.
All right, I'm going to segue to Lily and Anthony now. What was the hardest part in preparing for your roles? We can start with Lily.
Hardest part. There wasn't, it was all the preparation for this role. It was sort of like the feeling that I have when I'm lucky enough to prepare for a role that has everything that I could want in, you know, this sort of the landscape of what I got to sort of dive into and explore was big enough that I think, yeah, there was no hardest part. It's more just you have a responsibility when you love a script like this and when you love a character like this to tell the character, to tell Rachel's story as best you can. And I think that's always daunting. I mean, I get very nervous before shooting something that if I'm super relaxed, it probably means it's probably not the best sign. So I was nervous, but yeah, there was nothing that, nothing negative.
All right.
Except rapping.
I have to say pretty much the same thing. Like Sam, you know, nothing too dramatic to prepare to be him, but just having to tell a story, like Lily said, it's very nerve-wracking because you want to make sure that everything's right, that everything's perfect.
And it was your first movie.
Exactly, yeah. It was, especially when it's the first time, yeah.
Like I would think that would be the biggest challenge, but you were like, yeah, I got it.
It was so fun. Like the cast and crew made it so easy, and especially.
So this was a really emotional and raw film. Were there any scenes that were challenging to act out, or any scenes that were really fun to act out?
All of them. That's my answer. Sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
I don't have an answer for that, but I'll say just watching other people's scenes be done was very, like, not hard, but it was very just, I can't even think of the word, like, especially Timmy's monologue scene, witnessing it was just really, like,
yeah, because we
was
actually
a
got
lot.
to just got to
yeah, because we really had to sit there and be in the audience and be present, and you know, it was definitely a lot.
I really liked that shot where you zoomed in on his face first and then you slowly zoomed out. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was so cool because they were supposed to be classmates and a teacher, and they really did form that bond, you know, like you could feel the love, and that I think shows on screen. It makes the relationship of them being classmates and their teacher seem really believable. And it was so fun to get to watch them like all having fun when they weren't shooting, you know, just like hanging out and getting to know each other.
All right, one last question. So besides being here for Miss Stevens, what other films are you looking forward to at South by?
I'm really excited about the Richard Linklater movie.
Me too.
Everybody Wants Some.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds awesome. And also, like, I have a lot of friends who have movies here, so I'm hoping to get to see their movies as well.
Did y'all have?
Yeah, no, I think, but I'm very excited about the Linklater. I'm also really excited to see Gleason, that documentary. Yeah.
All right, Anthony?
I'll just say the same.
Right.
You're excited to see Miss Stevens.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was all I had for you guys.
Thank you so much.